Hello everybody, I'm Stefan and I'm a full life van lifer. This is my self-built camper van. It's a 2006 Ford E350 with a very thirsty engine. On the front of the van, I have 300 watts of solar. Next here, I have a water jug, which I usually keep for showers if I'm out in the wild. It usually isn't, it's not full unless I need to fill it up and I know I'm gonna be taking showers outside because in the cold, it's not fun. And on this side and the other side, I have these boxes where I keep most of my camping equipment, and I also use them in the morning as a coffee station because I can sit up there and enjoy the view better. And if you come around this way, but then I have a recovery equipment, which I actually needed because I got stuck a few times. My van is a two-wheel drive, but it kind of turns into a one-wheel drive when it starts slipping. Not fun. So I have a shovel, which I also use for fires to put them out if I'm doing wildfires and stuff. Not wildfires, campfires. My axe, recovery boards, which are damaged already because I got stuck. And in the middle, you can't really see, but in the middle I do have a max air vent. Pretty standard to all the vans out there. Keeps me cool. I don't need an AC really. If it gets too hot, I'll move somewhere else. So even though I have solar panels on the roof, everybody knows if you used solar panels before, they don't really work really well unless you have the sun like beating on you. So this is a plug for portable solar panels, which I have underneath the bed in the back of the van. So that way I can move with the sun and keep the van in the shade. When I first got the van, it was a passenger van. Obviously I have windows, I had bench seats, and I had to sell those. I actually made some money off of those. And then once it was empty, I started kind of measuring around and seeing what I have to work with. And the biggest thing was the bed. I needed to make sure that I can fit like this, and luckily it's big enough. But it was just a passenger van. That was just empty passenger van. Why did I decide to build it myself? Well, one, I like it. It was a great challenge. Money, if you wanna have somebody build your own van to their spec, then it's gonna be a lot more expensive. And to be quite honest, I needed to know what I needed in the van. When you first start building a van, you don't really know what you need. You just start building stuff because you see other people and they have sinks and double stoves and ovens and stuff like that. And because it's a small space, I wanted to make sure that the stuff that I put in here is going to be used. I'm not just going to have a fancy microwave just to show people that I have a microwave. Well, welcome to my humble abode. Well, we might as well start with this. This is my newest addition. It's a microwave. It works just like a microwave in a house. It's hooked up to an inverter. Yeah, an inverter, 2000 watts inverter. And then later we'll probably go through the whole battery system and electrical system. But yeah, it's pretty simple and it's a good storage unit. So that's where I keep the storage, and it also keeps that plate from like rattling around. Pretty good storage space. And in here I have a fridge. This could be a fridge or a freezer. It can't be both. It doesn't have separate compartments. I use it as a fridge, obviously. I don't need to eat much ice cream or drink whiskey on the rocks. So it's a fridge. I have many items in here as food. I'm not sure if you want to take a shot of that. But what's nice about this is that when I'm driving and I'm going in far places, or I drive for a long time, I can put it in between the front seats, and then I can grab a snack or a drink or whatever. And at night I can move it back here, put the curtains in the front back into place, so you can't really tell there's a fridge if you're looking inside the van, inside the city. So, but for the most part, it sits up here and it's very heavy. Up here I have a sink, and this is a cool addition that I'll talk about later. But this is just a Ruvati. Yeah, it's a Ruvati sink. If you're interested about the brand, I try to get as deep as possible, and I'll show you why, because underneath here is like probably the hardest thing I ever had to do. But it doesn't have an electric pump. It does have a foot pump here, and the reason I chose the foot pump at the beginning all you see here wasn't the way it is now. So gradually I got more stuff like better batteries. So I was trying to save on electricity and also on water, because it's super easy to control how much water you get. I only have a 5 gallons water tank, so I need to conserve any water that I can in here. And like I was saying before, it's super tight back here. In here I have the 5 gallon water tank. It comes out and it's super easy to fill up. And because I have to take it out, I didn't want to get a bigger tank. It's just super heavy to bring back in here and wrestle it in there. Here on the left side I have my diesel heater tank as well, which this can be filled up from the outside. I forgot to show you that, but I can show you. And I'm not sure how much this is. I don't fill it up all the way, but I do know if I were to run it for about 5 nights continuously, it'll get me through the nights. I don't run it all the time because most chances I'm out having fun, so I'm not gonna be in the van the whole time. And behind there, which you can't really see, and I really don't want to talk about it, but it's a gray water tank, and it was a pain in the butt to get done. The only reason I got it done is because I did sign up for Harvest Host and they require that. So cabinets on this side, these are actually IKEA crates. They're wooden crates. I obviously measured the crates, or I knew what the measurements were for the crates before I did the whole thing here. And they don't have any latches because I have these grooves here which keep them from sliding out. Super simple. I lift it up and then it stays in place. They're all like that. The reason this is different is because right behind here is that gas fill hump that some vans have. So this had to be a little bit smaller. But it's nice because I can store a lot of stuff in there. Now I have my bread, and then I also have an induction cooktop. I figure we'll talk about this when I talk about the electric. And you're gonna think I'm crazy because I use a lot of electric. Hasn't always been the case, but I have that now. And then I usually keep onions and avocados in there. This is a clothes drawer, which is super full. I just did laundry, so it's really hard to get back in there. Usually stuff that I use every day. I try to keep everything very simple. I know in van life a lot of people talk about how one thing can do 3 things, but you have to want to use it. Otherwise you just have it for a show like this, like for this video. Pots and pans, love to cook. I have many ways of cooking, and they're all in here, also very full. But I try to keep everything kind of in the same place. It's not always easy. So how much did it cost me to get in the lifestyle? Well, the van itself I got lucky with. I bought it before vans got crazy with price. So I bought it for about $6,500 American. And it had very low mileage. It had like 55,000 miles on it. So it was barely broken in. And throughout the years, so I didn't build this right off the bat, everything built out. Throughout the years, I kind of saw what I needed, what I didn't need. So for example, every year I added a new battery, an extra battery. So price-wise, I can't really put a finger on it. I can only guess probably like $10,000. This side of the van, I'm in the middle of like reorganizing this, but it's basically kind of my junk drawer. I'm not sure. It goes from like the oil to oil this up once in a while because I do cook on it, to propane and butane and stuff, to my dry air humidifier. So many things in there. On this side is my coffee station / my box wine. But yeah, most of the stuff that I make coffee with are in here. This is my favorite way of doing it. I have many ways of making coffee because, you know, gotta get caffeinated. I use an electric water heater. Again, electric. And the main reason I'm actually using electric is because I upped my electricity game. So if it's free electricity, I'd rather not have to buy the butane or propane. You know, just kind of use this as much as I can. And then in emergencies, I have the other stuff. So why did I decide to do van life? Well, I used to live in New York City, and then the apartments in New York City, they're not like you see in movies. They're really tiny and everything, so it's super easy transition for me. And I wanted to adventure more. I wanted to go out more. I didn't want to pay rent, obviously, and this was the perfect fit. I could easily transition from a small apartment in New York to a van. The benefits are great because I can move anywhere I want, anytime I want. I can be by the beach and enjoy the ocean. I can go to the mountains, which I do, make a campfire, and I have everything I need with me. I don't need to think about stuff that I need to pack. I have food, water. As long as everything's topped off, I'm good to go for a week or two. And I don't need more, to be honest. I have all the benefits that you would have in a house, minus the headroom, but that's kind of it in this van. I bought the biggest pan I can find, and the reason I got that, and it works with the induction cooktop and stuff like that, because I'd rather just do one pan meals rather than like spread out and have a bunch of pans. So this is pretty good, and also like if somebody wants to come in, it's heavy enough. And then again, this is my pantry, lots of stuff. Chili, a lot of the good stuff, you know. We have some oats, and then up here I also have some dry goods. Because it's tucked away, that's actually my dirty clothes basket slash canned food. But a lot of people, when they build vans, they kind of forget that aspect too, like where are you gonna put your dirty clothes? So because it's out of the way, I figured, you know what, I can still stuff clothes in there, and then when I need to, I'll get it out and do laundry. Storage up here, that's where I keep my pants and also my swimming trunks, pretty much all the pants stuff, like gym things, extra beanies and stuff. And like you see, there's storage everywhere, but I didn't want to make it overwhelming. Like I actually had a different build and I hid my head in everything. So now it's kind of an open concept place. I used to have something that was like a hanging drawer, closet here, a hanging closet, and then I used to hit my head on it all the time. So that had to go. Oils and stuff, things that I use all the time, and they're very, very easy to grab and go. Another storage basket here by the bed. I sleep with my head on that side. Music, if I need to put some tunes on, and I do, actually, it's actually very nice. This, I know this is simple, but this is nice because I can grab from the outside and the inside. So, you know, it's very useful. I don't use a lot of paper towels, but when I do, they're easy to grab. Some of the things that I wish I knew before getting into van life is that it's not always Instagram pretty, which means you're not always gonna be by the beach, open the doors like I said before, and have your coffee. Most of the time, yes, you can, but you have to be intentional about it. It doesn't just happen. So that takes a lot of planning, a lot of researching, a lot of getting good at where you can park overnight, not getting that knock on the door. That's probably the biggest thing that I had to get used to. I got used to it pretty quickly, but I could see how for other people it'd be a little bit harder to try to find parking on the side of the road and avoiding the knock on the door. Thank God that never happened. And I'm not really stealth as a van right now. I started watching people living and traveling in vans maybe 10 years ago. And it was one of the YouTube videos that I saw. It was a family of, you know, two kids, dogs, and they had a Westphalia. So they traveled around, and it seemed like such a cool way to adventure and travel and see the world rather than fly somewhere to a hotel and see the beach that you can see somewhere else without flying to a hotel. But this way, I wanted to travel the slow lane. So basically, if I go somewhere in a town, I like to maybe meet the locals, talk about the town and whatever they have to offer rather than quickly breeze through it. And this lifestyle is definitely the way to do it. I've seen many beds out there in many builds. Murphy beds, double Murphy beds, sliding beds, office beds, whatever, they turn into all this stuff. I really don't see myself doing that every day. I just don't see myself like Legoing stuff around just to be able to sleep at night. I wanted the storage underneath the bed. So if I were to make this into a U-shaped desk or whatever, or couch, or like, I will lose a lot of the storage underneath because I would need to put my feet somewhere. And it's a fixed bed. It's a queen size short. It's a short queen size bed. It's a standard bed that is actually sold in the RV world. It's basically as wide as a queen size, just not as long. I think it's 74 to 75 inches long. It's the only time being short has paid off, but I can sleep this way. I'm not that short, but I can fit, and I don't sleep like a pencil, so, you know. And I like it because easy reach underneath the bed. I also have the batteries underneath the bed. I also have the inverter underneath the bed, the charge controller, all that fun stuff is all underneath the bed, kind of tucked out of the way. And it also gives me a good amount of space from the back underneath the bed to store other things like camp chairs and stuff that I don't use all the time, but they're accessible very easily. Also diesel heater underneath the bed. So, you know, the little vent comes out through here. And then I have this controller here, so super easy to control. But I have a remote, which is my favorite way. If I just need to stick my hand out of the bed and like turn it on. I did measure it where I can sit up, so I'm not hitting my head all the time. I figured I would get really old really quickly. So obviously I can't stand up in my van. I wish I could, but I'm not that short. So my take on it is that I could sit down and have this stool here, turn around, cook, grab something from the fridge. Anything that I need to do is basically here. And this is actually my toilet. It's very simple. It's off of Amazon. It's a bucket with like the ring on top, and I use you know, Walmart pet stuff, whatever you call it, bedding. That's what it is. And throw it away as much as I possibly can when I use it, after I use it, and that's kind of it. But it does help to do everything I need in the van. Some of the things that I learned about myself is that be free, adventure. Don't care about other people think. I mean, we're sitting here in a parking lot in a park, people walking by, we have our doors open in a van, doing an interview. People are gonna look. It is what it is, you know, but it is a lifestyle that it's getting more and more known of. Some of the other things, I'm like, I love the outdoors. I love to go hiking, love to take videos and take photos more than ever before. When I first moved, I was trying to be stealth in the van, and then now I say yes to many more things. Like if people invite me to take a video for a media company, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna do the best in my power to come over and make it happen. Before, maybe I would have been like, I'm not sure. But a lot of the invites that I get, if I can, and it's within reach, I'll go get it, you know, meet people and see other stuff that I would have never seen before. Electrical time. Like I mentioned before, on the roof I have 300 watts of solar. I have another 200 watts of portable solar that I can move around to charge 300 amp hours of lithium battery. Again, these were batteries that I bought year after year after year, so that I didn't go and spend a ton of money because I didn't know how much energy I would need. But when I added a microwave, I added other things, then I figured that I need more power. And they can also get charged by the alternator. So it can do both. It can charge from both alternator and solar. If I'm driving, I can I can also charge it only from the alternator, that's the money. That's what, if you need to charge batteries, that's what charges it really well. And underneath here, I have a mess of wires, but I know where it all is, even though it's a mess on camera. But basically, I have a charge controller, which charges pretty much the brains of the whole operation when it comes to electrical. So this is called the safety hub, which is basically, it has fuses and it also acts like a bus bar. It's all integrated. It's really nice, actually. On top of here, I have the Victron shunt, which comes with Bluetooth. They have an app so I can see what's coming in, how much charge do I have in my batteries, and pretty much everything it does. All the solar, when I run the microwave, how much I'm running, all that stuff comes through the app because it's a Bluetooth. Works really well. Most of the stuff that I run constantly is 12 volt. My fridge is 12 volt, which is my biggest power draw in a 12 volt setting. Up on this side, which is kind of my nightstand, I have chargers, wireless chargers, all that stuff. It's 12 volt. Here is my remote for my inverter, and then I'll go in a minute what that powers. On this side, I also have a few more 12 volt outlets. The diesel heater also is 12 volt, so that saves a lot of power. And then I have a plug here where I can plug in my induction cooktop. I can plug in my water heater, I can plug in my kettle heater, and that's kind of it. And then on the outside, it's always plugged in, but I have my 120 volt microwave. And that comes from the inverter underneath the van, which I only turn on when I need to. You know what? It's a lifestyle that everybody should try. Try it if you're interested. You're obviously watching this video, so if you're interested, give it a try. You don't even have to get a van. Now there's like outfitters that you can rent a van and, you know, give it a try and see if you like it. It's the same thing that I say to people: you should be a waiter one time in your life, just to kind of experience that aspect of the lifestyle. Pretty much the same thing here. You know, give it a try. There's a lot of people out there that like to go camping. They like to go adventure, hiking. Some people just like to be weekend warriors, which is great. That's how you kind of learn. You just don't jump in like I did. And just enjoy the freedom of it. The biggest recommendation that I could tell people that want to get into lifestyle, especially van life, because there's a bunch of different rigs. There's truck campers, there's like buses. I would say use the vehicle that you have. See if you even like it. Whatever you have, don't buy a van yet. Just jump in your vehicle, go camping, get a tent. Try to sleep in a vehicle on the side of the road and see how that feels. See if you like, because there's gonna be cars passing by. You're gonna be worried that people are looking in your car. But most of the time, people even driving are on their phones. So let alone walk by your van or car and think about, oh, there's somebody in there. I made my look like a camper for a reason, because I want people to know that I'm in here. So it's harder for somebody to want to break in. So yes, I recommend the vehicle that you have. If you do want to get a van that you can afford, that won't break down right away. So get the most expensive that you can. Empty, throw in a mattress, go camping, enjoy the lifestyle, see if you like it, and see how you want to build it afterwards. You know, because you see those vans out there that cost $200,000. They have showers and all the good stuff, which I do have a shower, but it's not an interior shower. And all the goodies they have at home, but you find that you don't use ever. So experience first, see what you need, and that's kind of it. Welcome to my little garage. So like I said, a lot of space. Not a lot of space, but more space than I would have had if I did a lot of a different kind of bed. Tools that I need, and I also it's also tools that I use to build the van. I did it myself. Here I have those solar panels with a long wire. Just gotta take those out for you if I'm not gonna break everything else. And yeah, I basically just take these out. You know, they sit, and then I move them around, and it's 200 watts of solar, and it's portable, and they fold really nicely back in there. Because this is a window van, everything's stuffed with Havelock wool. I made these myself with my mom. Thanks, Mom. Not recommending it, to be honest. It was a pain in the butt, but we got it done, and they work really well to keep the van insulated. On this side is black, and then on this side is canvas. Two materials that do not like to be sewn together, but because the black portion of it is also thermal, I wanted to like double up on stuff. And I can put them up like everything else in the van, and then it's blackout. They're adjustable. I can, you know, they're on snaps, so I can put them in different directions. I can just take them off if I need to. Don't really do that. And the whole van is, like I said, insulated. The ceiling is insulated with Havelock wool. Still smells like sheep in here if you don't open the doors once in a while and let the air in. I have a few lighting options here. These little lights, these fairy lights that I have, they're plugged into my 12 volt there. And I have a remote for it, different settings. I can make them do different things, go up, go down. 12 volt, they really take nothing. Like they don't draw any power at all. And I like these because at night it's really ambient and great. And then I have these, which I never use. They're portable lights. And the same thing, I have a remote. They're individual, they can work together, and they get charged by a USB. But I never use them because they're actually super bright. The only time I actually use these is like if I don't have enough light and I'm filming something in the van, I'll use them. But other than that, I only use the one in the middle, which I can move everywhere because I have magnets everywhere. And these are magnetized, so I can put them everywhere. Well, this is on the van, but it's usually magnets around the van. And that's kind of my only way of lighting in the van. Most of the time, if I'm during the day, I just have the window covers down and it's perfect. This table does have multiple uses. Well, it's a table, but this came off the sink. I usually keep it on the sink, and when I drive, because I have this over here, it doesn't fall off. It also has these rubber corners, which I hate. I wanted to paint it on black, but didn't get a chance to do that yet. That is a wolf. And okay, who needs lagoon tables? This is a homemade lagoon table, people. So it fits in here. If I'm at a nice place, I can open the back doors, eat, have a beverage, even work on my laptop if I need to. So I've been in this van full-time for after 2021. I did build it in 2019, but slowly built it. I lived with family for a little bit, and then 2020 somebody broke in it and stole some of the stuff that I had and a battery that was kind of glad they stole it. I hated that battery, but it was expensive, so they stole it. Since then I knew that I needed to be in it, with it all the time, because, you know, some of the stuff that got stolen wasn't expensive, but it was gifts from people, and I can't replace those things. So 2021, the van got broken into. Since then, I'm full-time van lifer. Do I have measures to protect myself from break-ins? Yes, I do. And this is going to be important, so good things you watch until the end. Well, I can lock all the doors from the inside. So what I do in the front seats, I actually run the seatbelt through the doors and through the buckle. So if anybody tries to get in, it's going to take a second for them to cut the seatbelts off. In here, I have a way to secure it as well. So by the time they can get in, I can hear them. And then back here, I have another lock or a latch. The same way, I can also put a lock on there, and it's actually like a vault underneath here, the bed. So even if they get in the van, they'll have to pick that lock to get underneath the van in the back. So if I really need to be away from the van, that's the way I do it. Can they get in there? Yeah, it's just gonna take a lot of time. And I have pepper spray handy right by my head, never had to use it. For the most part, if I'm in the van, which is usually the case, if I hear anything, I'll jump in the front seat and then go. I'm not gonna fight anybody. I'm not gonna, you know, usually calling the cops for something like that, it takes a while. So the easiest way to do it is jump in the front seat, which is why a van is awesome, because from back here, I can just jump in there and I'll see you before you can say hello. And that's kind of it. That's kind of, you know, my measurement. I mean, I haven't had a problem since then. I also have this drop lift table on the other side of the door, and it's perfect height for me to put my cutting board here and chop stuff and cook outside. So I also have my spice rack here, which is pretty much what I need. I have a spoon, I have a fork, all the other cooking stuff, all the spices that I need, and a quick, easy to use knife. It's always available. But if I need to cook more, I have more knives. I'm not gonna open this if we don't need to, but You can call me chef. And that's what I usually use when I'm out and about and doing a cooking party or something. And yeah, it's super easy. Like I said, that is easy to use from the inside and the outside. The microwave is easy to use from the inside and outside, because when this closes, it's kind of like my nightstand, and pretty much everything's easy, really easy to use. For outside showers, I fill this up, then leave it in the sun, and then I have an electric shower pump, which I'll show you in the back really quick. This is pretty much it. This is this bag here, and super simple. I got it off Amazon, and this pump basically drops in the little tank there, and I have a shower head, and it runs on batteries, and I can use the batteries pretty long. I run out of water before I actually run out of the battery juice. And that's how I shower outside. Or the gym. I have a gym membership, so that works too. So the way I find parking is usually pretty easy. I kind of scope out a place in the day. I try to not stay in residential areas, but I also don't want to be behind dumpsters at a Walmart somewhere, because that also could be dangerous. And if I want to park at night to stay overnight, I usually read all the signs, and I get in there when it's time to sleep, and then I get up and leave before everybody leaves. For the most part, nobody is really gonna notice my van being there. And then I go to parks. I go to parks during the day, or like every other person, get errands done. I still need to do errands. And that's kind of it. Yeah, my personal philosophy on life is that you gotta enjoy it. Enjoy what you're doing, you know. If you don't enjoy it, then you need to change something. That's how I feel. I did a lot of things in my life, from being a bar owner to, you know, being a photographer. Wedding photography sucks, and all that stuff. And if I didn't enjoy it, I stopped doing it, and I look for things that I enjoy. So for the most part, for me, the way it works, I do something until I don't like it anymore. Then I find other hobbies or other things that I like to do, because I want to be happy. I want to spend my life with the freedom that I have and be happy, not necessarily grind at a job and get nowhere. You guys can follow me on YouTube. For the most part, I do YouTube videos, and it's Stefan Gica. It's Stefan. Last name is Ghica. And on Instagram is the same thing, Stefan Gica, or Bohemian Tales, which is tales as in stories. Not much on Instagram, so YouTube would be the place to be.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. Also, if you want to watch more alternative dwellings, we got a playlist popping up right here, and we release new episodes every single Sunday, so consider subscribing.